welcome to Medicine with the Metals. I'm Mark, and this is Michelle, and join us on our psychedelic journeys. Hey, Michelle, what another great week, huh?
It has. It's been a pretty crazy week for us.
Yeah, really. Up and downs, just like this space is, up and downs. And another cool thing coming up this week is 3 years.
Are you going to cry?
Maybe.
So it's been 3 years in January 21st since we met, which is actually my birthday. I went to Soul Quest. I lived in Colorado. Mark was living in Florida, and we both went to Soul Quest. And my children's father had been to Soul Quest along with two of my kids and knew that I was coming and had asked Mark to keep an eye out for me.
I kept an eye out, didn't I? And then
we met.
Yeah, it was kind of like really breakthrough on ayahuasca, really my first kind of experience that I really, I had a few experiences before that, but that weekend was, I guess some people call it your divine intervention or your awakening, and that was it.
That was it. I remember I had just met you, but I heard it, I watched it, I witnessed it. It was beautiful.
Cool. Sure was. Speaking of beautiful, we got a great guest today, don't we?
We do. Our very dear friend, Gina. We have known her. She's one of the first people we met in this space.
Absolutely.
She has watched us grow. We've watched her grow. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're excited to have her on today.
Really cool person. Really good friend.
So let's take a commercial break as soon as we get back. Gina Jake.
Here we go.
Tired of feeling like you're barely holding on? Are you searching online for answers, only to come up with more questions? Looking for ways to feel better and make life more livable? There is a way where you can feel better and take on the world. Transforming your mental health, nourishing both your body and mind. Embark on a journey to lasting happiness and vitality, all powered by the wisdom of Mother Earth.
Today's guest is Gina Jake. She's a longtime Kambo practitioner and integration coach and a very dear friend of both Mark and myself. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us, Gina.
Thank you. I think I was one of your first podcasts way back when.
Back in the day.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's been such an honor for both of us to have grown so much. Like watching each other grow has just been, my heart. Love it. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you. Well, tell us a little bit about you. I know people know you in this space. I met you probably 3 years ago. I reached out, and finally we connected, and, it's been a beautiful thing. And you were a beautiful Kambo practitioner for myself, which, that's a medicine we really enjoy. So let's talk a little bit about that. And why don't we introduce yourself at the same time?
Sure. So, like you all, I had a lot of trauma and dysfunction growing up, felt invisible. And then the trauma is not what happens to you, the sexual abuse, all that. It's really the stories that I told in myself that I was unworthy of love, that there was something wrong with me. I couldn't possibly be loved for me. I had to please everybody first and put them first before me. So like Earth does, the universe, source, God, goddess, whatever you want to call it, took the 2x4 to my head and was on my knees and said, okay, I'm going to change my life. Because I was very unhealthy, ran to drugs, alcohol, just very, very unhealthy, and started to do regular talk therapy. But they kept saying to me, you got to learn how to love yourself. And I was like, well, how do you do that? Like, how is that possible? And that's where I found psychedelics, which I did at an early age, but I used it more as an experience and just fun, where once I started coming to it ceremonial, it really changed my life, And like you, I started at Soul Quest. My boyfriend and I, Raul, did. I had very difficult journeys. I mean, what you would call difficult, but I look back now and I say, I'm honored, that she allowed me to feel all those feelings that I tucked away so deeply, and really changed my life, every single one of these medicines. And most importantly, Kambo, really showed me my power, my strength, my divinity when I did the initiation for Kambo in the 3 where I had to do 3 Kambo treatments in 3 hours. And in those moments, it was really difficult, but kind of showed me exactly how, I was and why I was here to help other people remember who they are. Because I really feel strongly this is a journey, back to ourselves. Like, we are a human body experiencing this earth, through our soul. And that's all that ever matters is our soul. That's it. But we forget, just like I did. And these medicines really help me, and I know it's going to help lots of other people as well.
And Gina, like the first time I met you back in, I think 2020, I think it was, it was my first experience with Kambo. And that medicine, I didn't understand it a lot because I heard a lot of negativity about it, how the purging effect. But now that medicine has become so beautiful, not only to myself, but to Michelle also, what it does is amazing. Can we talk about the benefits of Kambo, what you see Kambo being in the future for us, and the healing things that you have seen come from it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a beautiful medicine because for me, it's a non-psychedelic, so it's a non-psychedelic for everybody. So coming in, a lot of times people can be very afraid of the psychedelic world and, what they're going to see and everything. So, right then you're coming into a medicine that has several different peptides. There's anti-cancerous, antifungal, antibacteria, antiviral, anti-pain, 40 times stronger than morphine, anti-yeast. So you have this plethora of peptides that are in the system that go through the lymphatic when we burn off the top layer right here, and then it goes throughout the entire lymphatic system. So you are getting, what the Amazon uses as their own vaccine, for when they were sick, to utilize this. And they utilize it on children, at all ages. I just saw a video of like a 2-year-old that was getting Kambo, just 1 dot, because he couldn't stop getting sick and vomiting, and he was better. Like, showed it.
And what is the Kambo exactly? Can you tell us what that is?
Yes, absolutely. So the Kambo, it's a beautiful story about how it was found, very magical. And I think that we lose sight of the magic of Earth and, the spirits and everything around us. So there's a shaman, and his name was Kambo, and his tribe was getting sick, and he didn't know what to do. So, like all good shamans, when they don't have the answers, they go to ayahuasca. So in the ayahuasca ceremony, the shaman the shaman talked to ayahuasca, and she showed him, out of the thousands of frogs, the Phyla medusa bicolor. That's the scientific name of the frog. It lives at the top of the Amazonian trees, and it has no reason to come down because all its predators come down. So ayahuasca showed him how to call the frog and down. And when the frog comes down at night, it goes straight into the palm of the hand. And it even does that today, which is absolutely amazing to think that this frog doesn't need to come down here, but allows us to take the secretion. The secretion gets placed on a stick of the frog. And then that's when you burn the top layer just of the skin off. And then you drink some water prior. Now, there's 2 different schools of this, like the Kuntanawa tribe. They don't want you to purge. So the purge is like a second benefit that you get. They're really looking for the peptides to go throughout your system. And then the Matsis tribe, they want you to purge. So you can drink like a gallon of water or 2 liters of water before, the Kambo treatment. Me personally, I like to go in between. I like to allow each person to drink what they want to drink, because I've been in ceremonies where they made me drink gallons, and I was more uncomfortable from the water than I was from the Kambo. So So what happens in the ceremony is you place the secretion on the gate that is burned, and it goes throughout the lymphatic system. You start to get heated up. Your heart rate starts to increase. You start to feel tingling in your extremities. It goes up to your gut and then into your throat. Throat feels kind of tightening. It goes into your head. You feel like a whooshing sound. And this is when people can go into victimhood, because it is difficult, because one of the peptides is a nauseating, or you can use the bathroom, one of the two. And you go into like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. And this is what I love about this medicine, is that when you breathe in deep, and breath is everything, and you start talking to that medicine and saying, show me my strength, show me my divinity, show me my power. This is when you and the medicine is working together, and there's no thoughts on, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Like, you are so in the present moment. So it trains you to be in that present moment that you always take with you. So once the purging comes up, which is the second benefit of Kambo. So if you do purge, you purge typically to the bile. The bile is where all diseases start, and it resets your gut. So now your gut's reset. So after that, fades away, then you kind of rest after the 20 minutes that the medicine has been on you. And this is where it's really important to just rest in the medicine, really rest and give yourself gratitude. Because we a lot of times tend to go over the really good things in life that we do, like, oh, I did that, that's great, next. This is where we got to stop and really give yourself gratitude, because one of the things that all the tribes talk about that Kambo releases is panema. Now, that can't be scientifically proven, because panema is energy, bad energy. And this is where it will release it completely, so people feel clearer. They'll feel, better afterwards. They'll feel more energy. They won't have like an appetite, all of that. There's a lot of medical benefits to it. Me personally, I take high blood pressure medication. When I started Kambo, I started getting off of it. So the more consistently I did Kambo, the least I needed those pharmaceuticals. I have helped people wean off of their pharmaceuticals, because you can stop SRRIs or MAOIs and not take them, the day of, and then go into the Kambo ceremony. And then you're going to not crave those. You can do the auricular ear treatment, where there is a point in here that is for addiction and any kind of addiction, so that you can do that point right there and place it on. It's amazing for pain. The teacher that I had in Peru, he helped his aunt who had breast cancer improve and get better after she was told that she wasn't going to live, with ayahuasca and Kambo. So there's so many different benefits, especially with autoimmune disease and Lyme's. There was a recent report that came out with people with depression. When they did 3 Kambo treatments in 30 days, they all, I would say 83% of them improved from their depression. So it really is like, when you are feeling the energies and it's bringing you down, and you just need like a reset. And this is what it is. The beautiful part about Kambo, it's the same in every ceremony. Like, it can be different a little bit, but you're still going to go through the same process of feeling your extremities tingling, go into the stomach, into the throat, the face, and back through. You might see something different or get a different lesson. You might cry, you might scream. So it's just really beautiful, the different treatments that you can do with this.
So let's talk for a minute about those two different schools of the water versus less water, because generally speaking, Kambo is a safe medicine, and the jury's out, I know, but it seems that the danger seems to come in when you drink too much water. What are your thoughts on that?
There's 2 dangers in Kambo. One is, if you, like, for example, the practitioner generally asks you to drink 1 liter to up to 2 liters before, 20 minutes before the ceremony. Okay, so if you were to come into the ceremony having drank another liter, that's 3 liters, which is too much for the brain, and hyponatremia can set in. So that's a danger in it. There's also contraindications of different people that shouldn't do combo, people with epilepsy, people with any kind of like past history of heart attack, heart surgeries, so there's different contraindications too that you want to follow as well. But the other one is if you were to get up in combo, right? If you were to quickly get up because you have to use the bathroom, because combo will make you go to the bathroom. This is where the practitioner is going to help you gently bring you up, carry your bucket to the bathroom, because the other way people can get hurt in combo is to quickly get up. It lowers the blood pressure so you can feel faint. Like even the ceremony, you might want to be like, oh, I want to lie down, because you just feel kind of lightheaded. And many times when they get too much medicine placed on, you can have a faint. So this is where also you want to get the right amount of medicine on, so it's not too much as well, because it'll lower the blood pressure as well.
Well, let's talk about a couple other things here, because these two medicines go very well together, ayahuasca and Kambo. Kambo has been always told to me and others that it's really good to do before the ceremonies, before an ayahuasca ceremony, because it really is a great cleanse. And it really brings out those benefits in these ceremonies, in these ayahuasca ceremonies, and you were mentioned earlier why you came to these medicines. And I think we all come to these medicines for that same reason. I think we're really broken down, and we just come because our child, I think our child is so broken, and you really work well with that inner child, and I think that's where most of us like have to go back and really relive all these. And you've helped me relive through many, if I can say. So explain to people about how that process works and how that inner child works, because I think it's so very important to people to know that it's not leaving the trauma, it's revisiting the trauma and healing that trauma.
Yeah. And Mark, I just want to say I love your vulnerability. I love who you are. So beautiful.
Yeah, me too.
So do
Producers love you too.
So do I.
So inner child work for me, in my coaching practices is probably one of the number one things that I do. And, when we are born onto this earth, there's things that we need as a child. And we Western society set ourselves up for failure right away. For example, a man or a woman can only take 2 weeks off for their child after they've just been born. Right there, you're setting your child up for abandonment issues. And it's not the people that are doing it, but it's our society that says, oh, you can only get 2 weeks off, when they really should be getting 3 months off, 6 months off, to bond with this child, to nurture this child, And I always talk about how it doesn't have to be capital T trauma, because the trauma is the story you tell about yourself in that moment. And I give this example all the time. I was 4 years old and my parents are fighting nonstop. Now, me, Gina, the adult, know that they have a terrible relationship, and I would never want a relationship like that, nor stay in one like that. But the 4-year-old Gina immediately said, what's wrong with me? What did I do wrong? Why can't I be loved? Why can't I make them happy? Like, what's going on? So that story stays with me. And then energetically, I'm bringing in other people throughout my lifetimes to continue that story, that I'm not worthy of love, and that it gets bad enough that you're on your knees, that you say, I'll do anything. I'll drink that ayahuasca. I'll smoke that bufo. I'll do that iboga, whatever it takes, to return to who we are. So in those moments, we want to go back to little Gina at age 4, when she thought that there was something wrong with her. And you want to connect as the functioning, nurturing adult that you are, and protect them. So it's not reliving it, but it's honoring what they've been through. So you just hold yourself and you say, okay, little Gina, I know that was so hard. I know that was painful. I know that you thought it was you, but you did nothing wrong. There's nothing you could have done to change things. And I'm here now. I'm going to protect you. I'm going to show you the love that you've always wanted. I'm going to be everything. Because what we want to learn is that there's nothing outside of ourselves. You know, I went through that so that I can be the integration coach. Like I went through the things I did so that I can help people remember. So those moments become a gift, but you got to honor them to bring that fragmented part of your soul back to you so that you're whole again. I mean, we come here whole, we leave here whole. This is just an avatar that we're in, and the soul is what matters.
Yeah, that really works.
But it's hard. It's very hard to go back to those moments. And it's a lot easier when there's somebody like you who is walking you through it, allowing you to be vulnerable and go back. Because I mean, you and I just did some inner child work about a week ago.
I think it's the most important part of integration, actually.
I believe so too. I believe so too, because the medicine is going to bring up your shadow side, the wounding that we reject, right? So we want to reject that side. No, I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that. I did it for a year and a half. So, but that's where you want to go to, because we were meant to feel the good, the great, the legendary bad, the bad, all of it. We were meant to feel, because we're in a blink of an eye here.
Right. And we don't know how to feel, but when we go to these medicines, and then we finally learn kind of how to feel. And once we learn how to feel, then we don't understand what that feeling is. So we need integration coaches, because these are first time feelings. Wow, we've never felt this before. Where is this coming from? And you have to navigate that. You can't just, how can you learn? How do I say this? But how can you learn something that you think that you've been fucking up all the time anyways? Mm-hmm. So you have to learn something new to replace that.
Absolutely. And even love. Like I said to ayahuasca, like, can you show me what it feels like to love myself? Because I don't know how. To psilocybin, the same thing. Can you show me how? Because I don't know how. And then she would show me what that feeling was and what it meant, and that's the beauty of it, is that these spirits know nothing else than just to be. They don't suppress anything.
We've been told our whole lives, don't feel that. It's bad to feel bad. We're not allowed to feel bad. We tell our boys, don't feel sad, don't cry, don't feel that, right? We tell our boys that.
Something to cry about, that one.
Totally. I mean, I'm a 70s child. Stop crying or I'll give you something to cry about.
It's kind of interesting too, how we all kind of, venture to these medicines in that 35, 40-year range. We start really digging deep, because what do you think? I think we think there's something different. We're stuck in such a stuck spot that how else do we know? And I think ayahuasca really shook that up. And because I really never did psychedelics before I did ayahuasca. I mean, it wasn't in my life like it was in Michelle's or yourself's. I mean, mine was mostly cannabis, and I've struggled with that too, but I've learned a nicer, tender relationship over the last few years. But I think in a way, cannabis really navigated my path towards here. That makes sense.
Absolutely. She's a master teacher.
She is a master teacher.
She definitely is. Yeah, so, we can talk about ayahuasca and Kambo and the beautiful other things you do. And you do serve a little bufo, or is that not the case?
No, I don't. The only medicine I serve is Kambo. That's it. That's the only one. But I do integration for Bufa alvarius,
We're going to talk about that. Yeah. We're going to talk about integration right now, because that is the key to everything. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, without it, we always say this, without integration, it's just an experience. Maybe it's a cool one. Maybe it's a scary one. Maybe it is nothing. But without the integration, it's just an experience, in my opinion.
And what's integration mean to you, Gina? Because I know what it is to me.
Integration for me is unpacking everything you felt, saw, heard during the ceremony, and looking at the lessons within those moments, whatever they may be, in order to implement them into your life for the transformation. pretty much, talk therapy to unpack everything of the ceremony. And it takes a few sessions. It's not like one and everything comes, because the medicine's going to work with you for weeks and sometimes months and maybe even a year, afterwards that you've gone. So it's really important to have people that have had experience in these psychedelics. I'll use an example. I was integrating this one girl, and it was after Bufa alvarius, and she would have a reactivation, which is quite normal. And there's two different reactivations that you can have when you first go to sleep or when you first wake up, where the dopamine's being released naturally. One is where the medicine just comes in, you feel it, you see it, and it's just more love. Or the other way is somatically trying to bring up a memory for you to look at it, to feel it, to dissect it, to let it go, to honor it. So she kept getting woken up and she would see demons. And she was like, what is this? Why am I seeing these demons? When we did the integration, we went back to her childhood, because it always goes back. The memory that somatically is coming up, the body keeps the score, always goes back. And when she was 4, her father was a severe alcoholic. So when he went into his alcoholic rages, little 4-year-old mind would say, that can't be my father, that's a demon. So she would, in her imagination, see him as a demon. So she wouldn't see her father as that.
Yeah, how we hide those traumas, and I think you said it best earlier. We hide these traumas at 4, and then we leave them there, and then we move on to the age of 7, and we leave that trauma there. Big or small, these are all just traumas, and we don't even know how to heal from them. But the big ones were really the ones that really, jolt us up. I mean, there's so many out there, that so many. I mean, people's traumas are traumas. We don't compare traumas. I mean,
But
it
the
is.
thing is, they become your gift. Like
Mhm.
if they become your gift in a sense of the lessons. For example, one of my traumas was I couldn't ask for help, right? So as a little girl, I was pretty much invisible, so I couldn't ask for help. So as an adult, Gina, the human, the adult, will be there for a person. Like even on my integration that I do, I'll take a call at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., because this is really big. And I want to make sure that anyone that is there that asks for help, I'm going to be there, because Gina, the little girl in me, knows what it's like to feel like to reach out to ask for help and not receive it. So when you look at the wound, when you heal that wound, you become the opposite of what it is. You know what I mean? Like that becomes your medicine, the medicine of Mark, the medicine of Michelle.
Right, definitely.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Mhm.
More than just the medicine with the metals.
Absolutely,
Medicine with
absolutely.
the medals.
Well,
Well, we love having you on. We love talking
yeah.
to you. I want to touch on something else too, because we had another journey together. Let's get personal for a minute. We went on a Wachuma walk one time together,
Yeah.
and there were so many lessons learned from that day for me. I want to talk a little bit about the grandfather, because we haven't talked about him very much.
He is magnificent. Like, you know, I always, compare it a bit like Bufo is a rocket ship where you become the all and the nothing. Your heart just implodes into everything and all, where the grandfather is like a slow opening flower. Many first timers are like, I don't feel it. But all of a sudden, like, and this medicine has been used for so long. They found ruins in Peru from like 2500 BC, and there was a mummy in there, and they took a hair sample and they found San Pedro, that she had consumed San Pedro. So this is a medicine that brings you back to your heart, and it's typically done during the day through a walk, but something with earth, because you connect so deeply. But the medicine opens your heart so gently that you don't even know it. So a lot of times with the tougher medicines, we fight that. No, 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 no. I'm not going to feel that. I don't want to feel love. I can't. It's too much, too much. Where this one, it opens slowly like a flower, so gently that your heart becomes open, and then you become connected with everything and everyone around you. I remember in that Wachuma ceremony, I got enthralled with these two geckos that were fighting, and I'm trying to feed them blueberries, and you get, it's almost like your inner child comes out to play, where everything feels right and good in the moment. But it is tricky, because it is like all of these medicines are psychosomatic delics, so this is where it's going to bring up something. So all of a sudden you might feel an ache in the knee, or you might feel a little nausea, and you're like, okay, what is this? And this is when every single time I've been assisting in a ceremony with San Pedro, that I ask them, describe it, get it back into your body, feel it. What does it want to say? And then I repeat it back to him. A memory comes back. We honor it. We cry about it. And then the nausea and the pain goes away. Like, so it's very tricky in that sense that you're in such a beautiful moment that you're not even feeling it. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, Gina, can I talk to you? There's something on my heart. So your heart is so open that you can get messages and downloads and connect with your ancestors, and most importantly with the earth.
So I want to talk about that particular day for a minute, because Raul, who is your partner, we went and did a medicine walk with somebody who's a musician in this community, and Mark and I were a little bit starstruck by him. Okay, when we went on this walk with him, and he was serving the medicine, and at the end of the day, Raul was the last one to drink the medicine, and there wasn't enough for him. The gentleman who was leading the walk had miscalculated and didn't have enough medicine. And he was very embarrassed by this, that he didn't have enough medicine. And so that was sort of the prelogue to what happened. So while we're on the walk, I suddenly felt like I was sitting up in a tree with my grandfather, and he had his arm around me, and we were kind of looking down at everybody that was there. And he was showing me each person's, what they were going through, and their turmoil. And for Matt, who was serving the medicine and having this, it's hard to explain, but I was able to see everybody and what they were going through. And the biggest part of that was that they were just like me, and all the issues that each of these particular 12 people were having were just like mine. And it, again, was that connection. We're all one. We're all the same. Even this person who I look at as like a star, or, whatever I was thinking at the time, we're all one.
It's a big medicine. It's a big medicine, but it's pretty beginner medicine too. It's really gentle how it works, and it's cool that way. And it's actually not even I think it's more of an alkaloid, kind of like a boga. So I think
it's a mescaline.
A mescaline,
yes,
yeah.
Mescaline.
So these
From
alkaloids, they work different on you. So all these plants just work so different, especially that one. That one's pretty grandfatherly, I can say. So
no, it is. And you have a lot less visuals, so it also works like on the dopamine receptors and stuff. So the feel good, like psilocybin is much more visual, so this one's a little bit less, but you feel the connection really strongly with everyone and everything around you.
yeah, it seems like over the last few years, ayahuasca has lost a little bit of pizzazz, and psilocybin has kind of catapulted that. But, I think there's always classification for these medicines. I really do feel that psilocybin is going to be the medicine of the Western world future. I mean, that's a really great medicine for everything. And the side effects, the negative side effects are very few. And then there's the big medicines like iboga and ayahuasca and Wachuma and 5-MeO, but navigating this path and being on this path for the last 3-4 years, psilocybin seems to be like the big one.
It is one of the best ones, especially for first timers. I mean, hands down, one of the best ones, because you can really control based upon the dosage of how deep you want to go. So that's the beautiful part. Not to mention, fungi is the most intelligent species we have on this planet. So even if someone takes 20 grams, will they have kind of an out-of-body experience? Yes, but they're not going to harm themselves in any way. Like, it's just, the mushrooms are one of the most beautiful medicines that we have, that is so natural, from the ground, intelligent, a spirit that can play. Like, if you just do a half a gram, all of a sudden she's just playing with you. If you do 2 grams, it's a little bit more of a journey. When you start to go in the heroic dosage, that's when she's like, okay.
She ain't playing. She ain't playing, man.
Right.
Yeah. So
Well, where can we find you, Gina? We could sit here and talk with you all day. We love, love, love talking psychedelics with you, and medicine and spirituality and all the above.
your coaching course.
Yeah, let's talk about coaching.
Absolutely. So Infinite Coaching Services is where I'm at, so you can get me right there on the website and also the telephone number directly to me. If you have any questions, want some coaching or combo. I'm in the Naples, Florida area, so I serve on the west coast of Florida. Yeah, just contact me through the website, telephone, or email there.
And let me tell you, this woman serves medicine so beautifully. I will likely not sit with anybody else because the last time I came in, and then I'll shut up. I love talking to you. The last time I sat with you, in my personal experience, less is more. Less is more. And I really I wanted to try to work with the medicine. So you suggested I do 1 or 2 gates on my ankle so that the medicine would come up slowly. Because here's what happens. The medicine takes over and I get I can't focus. So we did it this way. The medicine came up slowly and I was able to really work with that medicine. It was incredible.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful medicine. Such a beautiful.
My best advice is go for it. Do the 7 chakras.
Well, Gina will help guide you to what is best.
Yes. Gina, we love you so much.
We do. We love you.
I love you both too.
Mm-hmm.
Ciao.
So that was a super fun interview with Gina. I love having her on.
Definitely. Really good friend of ours, We've done all these medicines and doing them with her is just special. She's really... She's been in this space for a while and she gives that loving touch, that loving motherly touch.
She's very motherly and Kambo is, you have to be very vulnerable with this medicine. All the medicines, you have to be vulnerable, but Kambo especially because you're not under a psychedelic medicine. You're completely there. And so your vulnerability really comes out and she just loves you right through it.
Yeah, she does. And, that medicine's legal, all 50 states.
In all 50 states, it sure is. So, and it's not a psychedelic and there's no preparation for it. There's no dieta or
It's definitely a purgatory though.
So, and here's something that we didn't talk about. The first time I went and did ayahuasca and Kambo, and there's thoughts on both of these, but I had been a lifetime cigarette smoker, minus the time that I had been pregnant or nursing for those 3 years, lifelong cigarette smoker. And after my first Kambo and Aya experience, I woke up the next day and I've never smoked a cigarette since. What happens with the Kambo and the ayahuasca, but you let go of what no longer serves you, even if you don't understand it. And I even fought that because I wanted to smoke, but I couldn't do it anymore. So the health benefits, the energetic benefits, the spiritual benefits, Kambo's incredible.
I can't say I use plant medicines to get off cigarettes. I use Shantex.
Well, it wasn't my intention when I went there. It just happened. I was fortunate that way.
So let's go on next week. How are we doing next week now?
Let's see. Next week, another week in Medicine with the Metals. I can't remember who we have on next week, but I'm excited for it.
Yeah, we're always excited for it.
We are. Well, it's been a big week for us here. We've got our 3-year anniversary next week. We can talk about that a little bit more.
Hi, my name is Kate. I live in Gulf Breeze, Florida. I wanted to speak a little bit about my personal experience with ayahuasca, which is a psychedelic that I took down in Peru. And I've actually done ayahuasca in 6 ceremonies. I have a lot of thoughts about it. I think the reason why I got a calling from Mother Ayahuasca is I had a lot of family members that died around me. And I started feeling like a little anxious about my life and the dying process. And I just felt like I'd become this middle-aged, middle-class woman. I just felt like I was empty. I decided to do a little research on it and decided to just try it out. My husband, who's a doctor, had done it back right before COVID, and I saw the results in him, even though I was a little bit suspicious because it sounded like it was a little extreme for me. One day I just made up my mind and I just pulled on the side of the road and I booked my flight to Peru. And I contacted the retreat area and I told them that I was going to do 1 week with them and then 1 week to visit the Machu Picchu in Peru. The 2 weeks prior to the first ceremony, there was a lot of dieting. And I think that was kind of difficult for me because I'd never really given up anything in my life. I think I always had everything. I mean, I had a great childhood, didn't have any problems with alcohol, didn't have any problems with drugs. So that was kind of the first step, was to do the dieting. First 3 days, we had a lot of preparation. We did some meditation. And on my very first night, I didn't really feel like I was getting anything of the ayahuasca. I felt nauseous, and I felt like I could control this. And I thought to myself, I don't even know why I'm doing this. I don't need this, but I'm just going to do it because I spent all my savings money on that. So something has to come out of it. The second day was a complete different experience. It was very chaotic. I literally threw up demons for several hours. I think it was coming out from the front and the back. When the facilitators were taking me to the bathroom, I kept telling them, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I made a mistake. I wanted to stop. I just really needed it to stop. I just felt that I was trapped in hell, and I just could not come out of the hell that I was in. And it felt more like I was strangled by the ayahuasca vine. The maestro was singing for me and trying to guide the medicine for me. And I was in such control, and I could feel that I needed to control this experience, that I was not going to be able to get better by letting go. And so for several hours, I hang on to everything. And then I started hearing this voice that was coming from above. And I know it sounds completely crazy because it's hard to put it in words. I heard this voice that told me to come, and some little gray hands from above. And I could hear this voice telling me to come and come. And I just couldn't figure out how to get up there. And I just said, I don't know how to come. I'm locked. I'm trapped. And then I just decided that there was no control. I couldn't control the medicine. I just had to allow the medicine to do its work. I decided to just let go of my control, and I said, okay, I'm surrendering, and I'm ready to let go of my control. I remember feeling that my body was just kind of coming up towards this light. I started feeling like I was at peace, and then suddenly I was awake. And I remember just holding on to my little mat, and I said, what the fuck just happened? I was just in such shock. I just felt like my mind was normal, and it was just the weirdest psychedelic experience I'd ever had. I have never done LSD. I've done a little bit of mushrooms, but just to dance, and I've never really had that experience, that psychedelic experience. It was just very, very intense. And then the third night, it was a beautiful experience. Mother Ayahuasca came to me and showed me my little gray heart, and she said that she could give me a bigger, larger heart. And I truly felt that my left breast was getting bigger and bigger. I talked to her, and she told me that she was going to give me a heart that I could use, and I could go back home and love my family. And I remember crying. I don't want to cry right now. I remember crying so much because I just felt like I wasn't going to be able to survive without ayahuasca, Mother Ayahuasca. And I was so scared that I was going to be by myself, and I was going to go back to my little life and just not be true to myself. And I remember Mother Ayahuasca telling me that she was always going to be with me. She was always going to be in my heart. And I could always talk to her. And that I had to go home, and I had to do the right thing with my family, and I had to show them more love and more affection with my kids. And then I woke up. After several hours, I woke up, and it was just a life-changing experience for me. And when I got home, I realized that there was a lot of weight that was lifted of me, and that my purpose in life was not the same. I think I became more spiritual. I started feeling like I understood that there was something so much bigger than me, that my little life on this earth, in my little town that I live in, Florida, and this psychedelic gave me the experience. It gave me the experience, I should say that. She gave me the courage to really find out who I truly was. And I just want to say that ayahuasca is not just for people that, have personal trauma, because I don't have personal trauma. And it's not just for people that, that are alcoholics or, drug addicts. There's so much more than that to psychedelic. I feel that it reset my brain, and I was able to see clarity in everything that I was doing. And I feel that I don't know why I'm talking like this, sorry. I feel that my path is really switched at the age of, I'm turning 52 in a couple of days. So I feel that my path is completely switched from when I did it in November of 2022 last year. And I just feel like I have more clarity. My brain is reset. I have eliminated like toxic relationships. I'm more focused on loving my family, and I think I've become more spiritual, and I've become more accepting of something that is bigger. And I don't know, I mean, we talk about God, but I just feel like I just felt the energy. I felt the creator, and I just feel that I needed to connect with the super creator, because I'd been atheist for the last 30 years. And after feeling this experience, it really has changed my life, where I feel that I do believe in the creator, and I do believe that everything around me is created. It's just hard for me to explain, but after this experience in November of 2022, I decided to go back in June of 2023 for another retreat with my husband. I had a very different experience. And again, it just helped me reset my brain, put me on my path. And the reason why I went back for a second retreat is because I just felt like I needed something else. And I had another calling, and that's why I went back a second time. And so in conclusion, ayahuasca really did change my life. I just feel like it's something that is very intense. It's not for everyone. But when I hear my friends complain and they feel depressed and they're on depression medication, and the amount of alcohol they drink, I just think that there is something different, and it's so extreme. I'm sorry that they feel that it's just too much for them, but it is a drug that has been used for so many years in indigenous country. And I feel like, the rest of the world is missing out on all the good that it could bring to our life. If I am making this video, it's because I do truly feel that there's so much to this medicine, and we have to open our eyes, and we have to trust that it was put on earth by God, the creator, to help us. But thank you for letting me share this. Obviously this is like very condensed, and I hope it can make a difference. So thank you.
Wow.
Another typical ayahuasca story.
So this is quickly becoming my favorite part of this show. Okay, here we have this woman who's a doctor's wife in South Florida who says she's never had any traumas, has had a pretty good life, right? And goes to ayahuasca, and it still changes her life. There is something about these medicines that give us a different perspective. They give a different perspective on your life.
Those kind of things pointed out to me too, like how, per person, 53, that age category again, and the doctor husband, it's all just starting to resonate. But it all boils down to personal trauma. She did mention it that she didn't have her personal traumas, but it is all about personal traumas.
But how beautiful to see her and see this change from her first ayahuasca ceremony. That's what these medicines do. They give you a different perspective.
Yeah, we all talk the same way, like crazy.
Something happens. I don't know what it is.
I think we're crazy.
Here's what I know. She said these medicines changed my life, and they've been doing it for people for thousands of years.
Oh, they
And
have
we're
been.
going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
We've been fighting some battles lately, trying to keep this out there and keep this going. These medicines change people's lives, and that's why we're doing what we do.
I guess it's the light gallivanting against the dark, if that's what you want to call it. They're not trying to keep us better, but
That's right.
that's another story. Well,
It's been
thanks.
an incredible show.
Yes, it has been, as usual.
So,
I love those. I love those psychedelic stories.
I do too. It's absolutely amazing. If you're interested in giving a psychedelic story, please reach out to us. Info at Medicine with the Metals.
Yes.
You
And
can
don't
find us.
forget, subscribe to our YouTube page.
Please subscribe to our YouTube page.
Please. I mean, we get a lot of views, but we need subscribe.
Please hit subscribe.
Subscribe.
Let's talk about our affiliates for a minute.
Mama Dose.
We got Mama Dose.
She's the best.
She is the best. She is the best.
Geo Directory is really doing well. Some good things there.
We got about 100 on there right now. Lots of good things coming.
Yeah. We're just informing and educating.
That's right. All right. I think we're finished. You can find us on the Plant Medicine Path. Where else?
Medicine with the Metals.
Mamadose.com.
Mamadose.com. Don't forget, subscribe to YouTube. Follow us.
All day.